folks, welcome to PlayBranson, where you get to know Branson's entertainers better. My name's Chris Meyer. I'm going to be your host for today. And on today's show, we have Tamra Tinoco with the Magnificent Seven variety show. She hasn't been on the show in 4 years, so it's been a long time since she's been here, and so we're glad to welcome her back. And so you'll want to stay tuned for that interview in just a moment. Now, here's the deal. I know I'm seeing folks all the time online saying, where should I go eat? Or where is there a good deal? And it's like every day I see these Facebook posts for people. And so if you are coming to town or if you're in town, you need to get this publication. It's called The Flavor of Branson. And here's the deal. It lists literally every restaurant in town by category. So if you want pizza, you can go see all the pizza restaurants. If you want Italian, you can do that. If you want barbecue, you can do that. And then the really cool thing is in the back of the book, there are tons of coupons to stretch your vacation dollar even further. So you can pick this up for free all over town. Check your hotel lobbies. That's a tip. If you go online and ask people where to eat, they're only going to give you like 2 to 3 places. And this one has hundreds of restaurants listed in it. So check that out. I did mention last month, well, maybe not been last, may have been this month, I don't know, about the dining passport. So if you're a local and you want to save money on dining, this is the absolute best way to do it. And we offered a deal a couple episodes ago, and I'm going to do it again. If you are local and you want to buy this, it goes through the end of the year. If you go to the BransonMissouri.com Welcome Center over on Highway 248, they will sell these to you at half price. And I can tell you, if you just use them a few times, you are going to save more than that. And so go check that out. We do have a limited number over there for you to purchase if you want one. So time's running out. Save a bunch of money before the end of the year. Now, one last thing, I've been giving away free Cold Stone, and so I'm going to do that at the end. So you got to watch to the end and see how I'm going to give away free Cold Stone and see if you can get the free Cold Stone. We'll be back in just a minute with Tamra Tinoco.
There are so many things to do in Branson. You need help planning and booking all your fun. You need iBranson.com. You can find everything Branson has to offer from your computer, tablet, or cell phone. You can even buy tickets online or talk to one of their friendly Branson travel specialists. There's no sales pitches, no delivery fees, no service fees, and no waiting. It's fast and easy. Find your fun at iBranson.com. Do it all online or call 877-ENTERTAIN. That's 877-368-3782. iBranson.com.
Hey folks, welcome back to PlayBranson, and today, for the first time in a long time, Tamra Tinoco, welcome back to the show.
It's good to be here.
I went back and researched, and it was 2017. That's a long time.
Yes, a few pounds and a few ages ago, yes.
Now, your husband was with you then.
Correct.
But he's not here today.
He is not. He had to open our business this morning.
Okay. And so, that's good. Gotta have business going.
We do.
So we want to talk about, you're with the Magnificent Seven show.
Correct.
You're the owner, you're the producer, you're a singer. And
yes.
Before we talk about the show,
okay,
we want to talk about your history, because that's what we always do on this show.
You are correct.
And so take us way back, because you have a really kind of an interesting history.
kind of interesting. Yeah, I guess you could say that. After college, graduated with a music education degree. Came here because I didn't want to teach. Mm-hmm. I wasn't ready to teach yet. I wanted to perform. And when I came here, it was kind of a mid-season. And Tammy Felton, remember Tammy Felton?
Yes.
Fantastic lady, was my vocal teacher a long time ago. But she called me and said, I'm doing marketing for the Osmond Brothers. They're coming to town for the first time, and I need your help. And I was like, okay. 21-year-old, very green, didn't know what was going on. Joined her, ended up picking up the Osmond Brothers at the airport. That's my start in this town. I was like, oh, welcome to town. But I really enjoyed it, but I really wanted to perform. So years went, and I did Eddie Cash. I don't know if you remember Eddie Cash show or not, at the Branson Mall.
Okay.
Yes, I was in his show to start, and with Brenda Severson. And then I moved to Christy Lane, Ferlin Husky, did quite a few shows there. And then Jim Stafford was with Stafford for 4 years. I think 4 years.
And so when you say you're with the show, you're as a vocal
singing. Yes, singing. That was what I wanted to do to begin with. So singing, a little bit of dancing here and there. did Blondes, Blondes, Blondes. I was the only blonde in the show. That was kind of fun.
Now, where was that at?
That was at Christy Lane's. It started
okay.
off there. That's where I met my husband.
Okay.
So we did that show together and Furlan Husky together. And then I did over at Jim Stafford's, and then ended up getting married to my wonderful husband, Joe, and we didn't want to sit here. So we decided to go do the dream thing that we always wanted to do, and went to Nashville. Ended up at Opryland when it was still existing.
So that was a theme park, folks.
Theme park,
if you didn't know that.
It was a great theme park.
Right.
But it only lasted a year or so before they closed it and made it into a mall, which was a sad moment. But from there, I traveled to Pigeon Forge and did Lee Greenwood's show for a couple years, and that was wonderful. Then went on the road. They hired us to do the Disney Cruise Line, which was a lot of fun. We had our own show on the inaugural Disney Cruise Line, so we got to go to Italy and everything else.
So you got to travel all over.
Yes.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Did a show called Birth of the Beat, traveled around the country with my husband and 8 incredible entertainers, and still in touch with those people today.
Birth of the Beat.
Birth of the Beat. It was a Matt Davenport production out of Nashville. And we did community concert series, 46 states in 6 weeks. It was pretty cool. 10-piece band, great singers. And came back to Nashville and then went, wonder what we're going to do now. Got a call from Chisai Childs and said, hey, what are you doing? And we're like, you know. Did the Grand Ole Opry, thought that was great, you know, and then we just kind of nothing there. And we're like, let's go perform. So she invited us back, started the Today's Country show, which turned into Magnificent Country, which turned into Magnificent 7. And 20 years later, we're still going.
Wow. See, that's a lot of history.
That's all in a bucket right there.
That was quick, but here's the thing, and the reason I like to talk about this is because people are not going to get all this on a stage.
You're right.
And sometimes people do not realize how much our entertainers in Branson have done.
Yes, and there's so much more in there, but you know that's the whole.
So
of it.
Going back to the Grand Ole Opry, when you were at Opryland, Porter Wagner,
yes,
he asked you to perform with him on the
He did.
Stage, right?
Yes.
So I just think anybody that can perform, gets to perform on the Grand Ole Opry, whether it's 1 time or 100 times, that's an honor.
It's a major honor.
Yes.
Major honor. We were performing at Opryland at the time, and we were actually not in the country show. We were in the other show. It's called I Hear America Singing. And they came to us and said, hey, we want you and Joe to do a duet on the Grand Ole Opry. We're like, yes, of course. You know, that's a huge dream. Especially for my husband, because he's a huge country fan. But just standing in that circle, you know, where all those big names have always been, it was such an honor. And Porter was a hoot, let me tell you.
So, I mean, you've performed alongside a lot of entertainers.
Have.
And Chisai Childs was very influential in Branson. For people that don't know, I mean, she passed away several years ago now, but she was really responsible in a large part for Shoji Tabuchi.
Yes, very much so.
And so you guys got to work with her. And so talk about how the evolution of the Magnificent 7 show, because like you said, it was different things.
It was different things. We were actually hired for Today's Country, which was the afternoon show of Magnificent 7, because Chisai had already started Amanda Halfkey.
Okay.
She was the original, and she was a kid at the time with 6 others, so that was the Magnificent 7. They hired us to do the country show, and then it just kept getting bigger, and he was like, Bob Weir, who was the owner at the time, said, we're going to move to another area, we're going to go to this big stage, the White House Theater, which is huge, and I want you guys to, you know, be part of that. I want you to produce the show. And we're like, So, you know, it was one of those. And, you know, it was a great honor. A lot of people, you know, it was a 12-piece band, 10 singer-dancers, and then the 3 of us up front, which was Amanda and Joe and I. Huge show. And then we took on, hey, I want to do a television show every week. We're like, what? So it was a huge deal. I mean, we worked our fannies off. Every single week we had a completely different show. The band was incredible. The singers were incredible.
Wow.
But, you know, it was a lot of fun. We had a huge learning experience. Won a lot of awards for those shows. Great crew. Missed it a little bit, but it was a lot of work.
Yeah.
A lot of work.
Yeah. And so, of course, Bob Weir no longer owns that theater, and so something changed, as happens in the theater industry.
Yes, it does.
And so, kind of talk about where you went from there.
He passed, and his family did not want to take on the whole business or the show, but they did give us the show rights.
Gotcha.
And the costumes and everything else, which are still in my house, just so you know. Still there, lots of them. A whole room dedicated to costumes. But we thought, okay, we can do this. But of course, we had to pare it down quite a bit. We went to a 5-piece band. We still had 10 entertainers. But that was at a time that it probably wasn't in our best interest to do that because we didn't have the backing. It was out of our back pocket. Going on what buses we had, which was great, ended up not having those buses in the long run. So it was hard. It was really hard. They did a whole movie about, I can't remember the name of it. Always Lie to Strangers.
Yes.
And we were part of that. And of course, they showed all the hardships on that one. And it was difficult. We had our daughter while we were at the White House, and it was a struggle. But
and she's an entertainer now.
She is. She's an incredible, and she's taken over the show.
Yeah.
She's my retirement program.
There you go. Okay, we're gonna stop at the retirement program.
Retirement.
And we'll be back in just a minute with more. Hang tight. Hey folks, welcome back to the show. We are talking to Tamra Tinoco with the Magnificent 7 Variety Show, and we just kind of had started talking about your daughter. She's been in the show really probably most all her whole life.
Yes.
And she's grown up in the business.
She has. She was on stage at 2. She started singing about that time, You Are My Sunshine. And then now she's like part of the Magnificent 7. There's 7 entertainers, and she's definitely one of them. Sings, dances, everything. So
maybe there's somebody watching the show today that has never heard of the show, seen the show, kind of walk through people what they can get and what to expect, and talk about more about the show.
The Magnificent 7 is 7 decades of music, 1940s all the way through the 2000s. 7 incredible entertainers, world-class entertainers. In fact, a lot of them have traveled the world performing. We do over 200 costume changes between the 7 of us. It's real fast-paced. We do all different styles of music, country, pop, swing, Broadway, gospel, patriotic, you name it, we do it. We have a lot of fun doing it. It's great for all ages, and it's a big production all the way through. So we have a lot of fun with it. A lot of comedy involved, a lot of musical comedy, so that's fun too. But
who's doing the comedy? Or is that
everybody?
All of it?
It is everybody. Everybody has a role in some point during the show that is comedian. Talia's not quite into that yet. She's still at that 16-year-old, I don't want to embarrass myself age, but she's so good at what she does.
So side note question, does she have her driver's license yet?
Yes.
Well, that's good, because some 16-year-olds do not get their driver's licenses
The day she turned 16. Actually, the next day. It was a Sunday when she turned 16, but yes.
Well, hey, I'm proud of you for getting your driver's license, because there's some kids that they wait now. They have these phones, and they're like, I don't need to drive.
She had been saving for a car. She bought it on her own. It was fantastic. Straight A student. I mean, I can't
So
Can't argue.
200 costume changes. I'm going to say that's probably more than just about any show in Branson.
I would say so, yes.
Maybe, I mean, Sight
for
and
the
Sound
amount
maybe.
of people.
Yeah, amount of people. Maybe
Correct.
Sight and Sound has more, but most people do not have that many costume
Most of
changes.
us have almost 30 changes within
That's
the
a
2 hours.
lot.
It is.
That's a lot. And so you have to know a lot of songs.
A lot of songs.
So is it hard to memorize all those songs?
The way our show works, not as much, because we do the chorus, maybe a verse out of it, because it's that fast. I mean, 1 minute of each.
So
you
how
hit
many
the
songs are you doing? Do you know?
75.
75 songs.
75 different
That's a
songs.
lot. So
it's a lot.
like your show could be a great show for grandma and grandpa, mom and dad, and kids, because everybody's going to hear something they know.
Absolutely, absolutely. In fact, the kids, you kind of watch them throughout the show because you know they don't know the songs from the 40s or maybe the 50s, but we have so much fun with it, and we're, changing clothes and the lights and everything. Kids are like involved the whole time, and we invite people to dance, and they do. So
they get up and dance.
They do.
See, I think that's cool too, because I always say the Branson audiences are pretty laid back, but
For the most part.
But I think that might be changing a little bit.
A little.
And I think it has to come from the stage to invite people to get up. And, Liverpool Legends, there was a point in time where they'd ask people to come down to the front,
Right.
But it's got to come from the entertainment.
I agree. You have to invite. You have to bring them in to what
Yeah.
you're doing. You want them to feel comfortable. It's fun. We had some people swinging in the aisles the other day. I mean, really swinging, and it was fantastic.
And that's that makes this show even funner, because now people are watching
I was
that
like,
too.
take the spotlight over there, because they're doing great.
You are also in the Hamner Variety Show as well.
I have
Okay.
been. This is, I think, our 9th season with Hamner.
Okay.
And I sing in his show and help them with, some magical things, but really enjoy it. And his gospel on Sunday.
Okay.
I'm part of the music ministry there, too.
So you're just doing all sorts of stuff.
Yeah. And our business.
Yeah, and we'll talk about that here in just a second. I know you want to get to that. So the Magnificent 7 show I am showing is on Sundays and Mondays at 7 p.m. and then
Correct.
Saturdays at 10.
That is correct.
So you're basically doing that 3 days a week.
3 days a week.
And they're kind of right there in a row, which makes it kind of nice.
It is
and
nice.
then I guess on the Hamner's show, of course, you're doing that other days of the week.
Every other day except Friday, yeah.
Yeah, so that keeps you busy. Okay, so you have this other business. Let's just talk about that for a moment.
It's called TNT Old Time Photo, and it's the biggest one in town, right across from Applebee's area, Apple Tree Mall.
Yep.
And we've been doing it since 2015. Joe and I and another performer in our show, Dusty Woldridge, we decided to open this up, and we're having a great time with it. But yeah, we have 5 different eras to choose from, and you just come in, pick the style you want, dress up, and have some fun.
Now, what I didn't realize is how many people actually, when they go on vacation, get their picture taken at these old-time photo places, because there's several in town, and I'm like, it's crazy.
There's 9 in town. Now
That's crazy.
we're owned. I know, we're owned separately, but we have a lot of fun with it, and it is amazing. It's not something I would have done. But now that I've watched it, it's funny. We have people come back year after year and do the same thing to watch their kids grow through old
It's
time
kind of
photo.
like a tradition.
It is.
Like, it used to be Owen Mills. Now today it's TNT.
TNT, that's right. And they
Yeah.
have fun with it. Kids that don't want to be there, men that don't want to be there, they get a gun in their hand. They're super excited about being a cowboy. So,
Like, if I got to sit through a photo, give me a gun.
That's right. That's right.
So, the show itself, does it change at Christmas? Do you
Yes.
do some Christmas stuff?
We do. We change it every Christmas. It's called Imagination Christmas, and we do have a lot of fun with our Christmas show. We kind of go out of the box with this one. The first half is the 7 decades, and we kind of condense it. We take out Broadway for Christmas and the gospel, because obviously Christmas is part of that. And we do a whole second half of Christmas, and it's going to be a lot of fun this year.
Okay. And then the other question is, do you change the songs up ever in your
Every
show?
year.
Every year.
Every year.
See, so folks, if you have seen this show in the past, it's going to be different.
It's going to be different
And
every year.
And that's what we also want to try and tell people, is that a lot of our entertainers do change their shows. Not necessarily 100%, but they do go in and change the show up,
Yeah.
so it's different.
Right. You know what works, so you kind of keep that a year or two. But there's so much good music. I mean, it's hard not to change it because you'll be in the middle of July and you go, oh, I really want to put that song on the show. So I'll write it down. So on my phone, I have a list of what's going in the next year.
So 80s songs. Can you tell me what 80s songs?
We have a lot of fun with the 80s.
Yeah.
We do everything from Alabama, because
Okay.
you got to have that, and Dolly Parton. We have some fun with that one. We even throw in Living on a Prayer.
Bon Jovi, right there. That's my kind of music.
Yeah, that's right. We do
Yeah.
the hair bands. We do some Pat Benatar and Blondie.
There we go.
Yeah, but you know, it's funny because this is still a Branson crowd, and we
Right.
do get the older, and it's funny to watch them because they do know those songs, and it's the way you present it on how they accept it.
Yeah. See, and my thing is that, of course, over time, the generations change. And so even if somebody's 60, they still might be a rock and roll fan.
Absolutely.
You know,
Absolutely.
so I think you should do some Van Halen, some Def Leppard. Let me know when you get that in the show.
Van Halen will be next year because
Van
that's one of
Halen.
my favorites.
I mean, they got a lot of good music.
They
you
do.
know,
They
that
have great
would
music.
appeal to
Yes.
a variety of people.
Yes.
So I think it's fun to hear some of those type of things where we grew up on.
Absolutely.
At least what I think.
I did too.
Yeah,
You and
so
I are right there.
There we go. Okay, so the theater, folks, is over on Shepherd of the Hills Expressway at 3090. It's the Hamner's Variety Theater. It's a more of an intimate theater. I mean, it can
is.
hold what,
650, I think.
650. So it's still decent size, but it's not like blowout super huge. And you guys have been there several years now.
This is, I think, our eighth or ninth season there. Yeah.
So, okay, did I miss anything? Did I cover it all?
Yeah, my whole life in 15
Okay.
minutes.
Yes.
Yeah, it was great.
We got the Porter Wagner in there, the Grand
We
Ole Opry.
did.
Oh, wait, we did miss something.
Uh-oh.
We did miss something. You were the former runner-up to Miss Missouri.
No, see that?
Not just one time.
No.
Not just 2 times. 4 times. That's
It
pretty.
wasn't meant to be, but
Hey.
it did pay for my college.
Hey,
And that's all you could ask, you know?
I think the fact that you got to that point is pretty darn awesome. So, and
It
I
was
think
the fun part
And
of my
here's the
life.
other thing is I think having a show in Branson going on 20 years now.
Yes.
I think that's an incredible testament to you and your husband and your entertainment ability. And so congratulations on that,
Thank
because that's a
you.
big milestone.
Thank you. You know,
it really is.
It has been a lot of fun. I've had a lot of awards won, and that's always good for me. You know, it gives you a little boost like, hey, I'm doing this for a reason.
Yeah.
People do like what I do. So, you know, I enjoy performing. It's hard to give it up. So I don't know when I'm going to do it. Maybe when I'm 80.
There we go. Okay, folks, if you haven't been to the Magnificent 7 Variety Show, please go check them out. You can find their tickets over on ibranson.com, and they are, once again, on Sunday and Mondays at 7 p.m. or Saturdays at 10.
Correct.
We'll be back in just a minute to wrap the show up. Welcome back, folks. We're wrapping the show up today. I hope you enjoyed that interview with Tamra Tinoco. She's got an incredible history, done a lot of things with a lot of people here in town. Want to tell you about a few upcoming events that are happening in Branson. In fact, starting tomorrow at Silver Dollar City, we have their Harvest Festival featuring crafts and pumpkins in the city, and that will run all the way through October 30th. So be sure to check their schedule on their exact dates that they're open, but you'll want to go out there and see all the crafts and see the pumpkins in the city. They are expanding that this year. Also, we have something coming up that is going to be a short-term engagement. It is Jason Coleman, and he's playing his Forever Floyd Kramer show September 30th, October 1st, and 2nd. And he's actually the grandson of Floyd Kramer. Floyd Kramer is very influential, played on almost every Elvis record. And so if you like Floyd Kramer music, I actually listened to that growing up because my dad listened to it. Check that out over at the Majestic Theater. Now, there's a whole bunch of other people coming up this fall. We've got Jimmy Fortune, September 23rd, that's today. Daily and Vincent, September 30th with other dates. Larry's Country Diner around the country, October 4th through the 8th. Neil McCoy, October 8th, and other dates later. Here's something most people probably don't know about. I just found this out. Crowder is going to be here in Branson on October 11th at the Mansion Theater, and they're part of a conference, but you can buy tickets to go see Crowder. If you haven't seen Crowder, he is one of the most amazing worship guys in the country. He'll blow you away. Now it's more edgy, more poppy, more rocky than the Southern Gospel, but at the same conference, they're also going to have Guy Penrod on October 12th. So there you go. The Bellany Brothers coming up October 15th, Gene Watson October 16th, the Gatlin Brothers October 23rd, and some other dates. Daniel O'Donnell's right around the corner in November. Tony Orlando November 6th. That's just some of the folks, and I didn't give you all of their dates, and the Oak Ridge Boys too. So folks, lots of limited engagements coming up in Branson this fall. If you need help planning your Branson vacation and figuring out who's playing where and when, you can go to ibranson.com. or you can call those folks at 1-877-ENTERTAIN. Now, I told you earlier that I was going to give away 2 certificates here for free ice cream. Who does not love free ice cream? You get a like it. I'm going to give away 2. And the first 2 people that come into the BransonMissouri.com Welcome Center after this airs, and you say, I want my free Cold Stone, the first 2 people will get it. That's at 269 State Highway 248. Stop in and say hi and get your free Cold Stone ice cream. Next week on the show, I've got folks from the Shanghai Circus featuring the amazing acrobats of Shanghai. So I hope I can understand them and they can understand me. They might be able to speak English. Who's knows? We'll find out next week on the show. And we look forward to being back next week. See you soon.